Hey everyone, welcome to Backyard Science. I'm Aaron with Jackson Bottom, and today I'm going to take you on a neighborhood nature tour. So this week's all about urban wildlife, and believe it or not, there's a lot of really cool animals that live within the city that you never would think could be living there. So here I am at Oaks Bottom Wildlife Refuge, where a lot of those animals reside during the day, and then at night move in through our urban areas. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the animals that live here and what you can do to increase the habitat within your neighborhood to help bring a lot more of those animals in. So Oaks Bottom Wildlife Refuge is a wonderful example of how the public can come together and make a change for good. So believe it or not, this whole landscape you see behind me here used to be a city landfill. And the neighborhood here petitioned for many years to get it put into a wildlife refuge. So now, since the landfill is gone, you can see all of these trees really thriving here. So this habitat has become a wonderful home for a surprising amount of creatures. Believe it or not, we are only maybe 3 miles as the crow flies from downtown Portland. But here you can see beavers, coyotes, deer, eagles. You can see great blue herons, river otters, minks, all different kinds of animals that you never would think would be in the city. It's pretty cool.
So this little bird on the trunk of the tree is called a brown creeper. Now this is a juvenile brown creeper. I know this because his mother was recently feeding him. And as she was feeding him, he was flapping his wings back and forth, letting her know that, hey, I'm here, I'm hungry. So you can see as he crawls up the trunk of the tree, he's looking for insects. He doesn't quite have his balance yet, but he's doing a great job at it. So creepers will start at the base of the tree all the way down here, and they will then start to crawl up and look for insects all the way up to the top. And then they'll fly back down to the next trunk of the tree and climb up and repeat the process. This is a distinct behavior that only creepers have.
So it's really bright. Out here is where the Willamette River meets with Oaks Bottom. So Oaks Bottom is actually the last salmon refuge on the Willamette River before it gets to the Columbia. Now, the mixture of shade and sunlight and water has created the perfect environment for ducks. Now, it looks like grass, but what you're looking at is actually part of the Oak Bottom Lake. So all of this water actually has what's called duckweed on top of it. And duckweed is one of the duck's favorite foods. So this has already created a perfect habitat for multiple species of waterfowl. So in this tree trunk, in that little hole, are baby downy woodpeckers. So whenever you hear little chirps, look for small nooks or crannies, nests, or even little holes like this, and you may get lucky and see a baby bird. The American crow is another common urban animal that you're going to see around your neighborhood or even backyard. But they do love natural spaces too. Crows are part of the corvid family, and they are extremely intelligent and have a wide range of food that they can eat. So foraging through the forest or foraging through your trash can be a welcome source of food. So this is a rare sight. This here, viewed from the trail, is a mother grebe sitting on her nest. Now, grebes are extremely aquatic birds and are rarely seen within urban areas. So it's really cool to see grebes actually nesting within the city limits of Portland. Now notice her nest is literally just a grass pile on top of the water. So grebes are so fit to swim through the water that they're actually not able to walk on land for long because their legs can't support their body weight. So as soon as the babies hatch, they are ready to swim. So wild spaces like Oaks Bottom are not only extremely crucial for native species and urban animals, but they're really important for humans too. All this water in here is getting filtered through the plants and through the soil, and it's cleaning it as it exits back out into the Columbia. So having these native wetlands and other habitats are great ways to help keep us healthy in the long run as well. So let's go look at my neighborhood and see what kind of habitats people have in their own backyards. So I'm fortunate enough to live in a neighborhood that has plenty of backyard habitat certified yards. So this is a great way to certify your yard as a native habitat. It's pretty cool. So believe it or not, a grass lawn is not necessarily the best habitat for a lot of animals. For some insects, it's a perfect habitat, but a lot of people don't want those insects around. So the best way I find to introduce wild animals to your neighborhood is to promote a habitat. So instead of a yard, you can put native shrubs, grasses, trees, even edible plants that you yourself can eat, or even the birds and other animals can eat. So it's a great way to introduce other animals to your yard and actually have a productive piece of land in your neighborhood. So this hole in the telephone pole is actually a woodpecker nest. So a lot of urban animals include birds. And birds are extremely adaptable and can nest in almost anything. So this woodpecker found a great home within this telephone pole, and it's really high up. It's so high that not many things can get to it. Now, if you're walking down the sidewalk or looking around your yard and you see a big pile of sticks and leaves in your tree, what do you think that might be? This is a sign of a mammal. So this nest up here is actually made by a squirrel or even a wood rat. A wood rat is actually a native mammal that has adapted to live within urban areas. Being that there's so much food available and plenty of large trees for nesting, this is one of the perfect habitats for small rodents. So especially in sunny, dry places, if there's no big trees around like these Douglas firs, then succulents are actually a great way to incorporate habitat within your yard. Notice how it creeps and grows within all the crevices. Becomes the perfect habitat and sleeping home for a lot of insects. And believe it or not, a lot of succulents are edible. So do your research. Fruit trees are another great thing to plant. Not only are they pretty, but they provide food for animals and food for humans. These look to be like Rainier cherries. They are one of the tastiest around. So, ornamental plants can actually provide a lot of food for different urban creatures. These honeybees are actually not native to North America. They're from Europe. So being from a different country, they have actually adapted to a wide range of different food sources. So even non-native trees or native trees can be a really healthy food source. So you wouldn't know from this view, but right now I am standing at Westmoreland Park, and right behind me is the Johnson Creek Restoration Area. So as you can see, it is a very heavily trafficked residential neighborhood. Plenty of houses, plenty of cars. Bybee is quite busy during the day, and there are quite a few people enjoying the weather today. So the Johnson Creek Restoration Area is only a few years old, but as you can see, it's quite grown in, and this is providing plenty of habitat for urban animals. Now, it's right next to the busy road and all these houses, but this little secluded stream still provides plenty of habitat and food for all the native and local animals. Jumping spiders are one of the fiercest predators of their size. They can jump almost 10 times their body length, and they have a web that detached from their abdomen that keeps them safe. Whoop. And what's really cool about this species is they have a neon face. It is an iridescent color sheen on their face that warns off predators. It's quite cool.
This is a great blue heron stalking his prey.
Notice how still he's being. Using his eyesight and that black stripe above his eye to help cut out the glare so he can see through the water and lock on to his prey. Watch how slowly he moves in the water, trying not to disturb anything around him. Oh, you see something? They cock their neck back, and when they're ready to strike, they release those neck muscles and shoot their bill forward and grab their prey with precision. This little furry guy is what we like to call a nutria. They are actually a highly invasive rodent. See the bright orange teeth there? Now, they look really similar to a muskrat and pretty close to a beaver, but there's a few differences that you can tell between them. Now, I don't know if you can notice, but he's got bright white whiskers, big thick ones, kind of like a walrus. And notice next to his ears, he's got bright golden cheeks. Now those golden patches are a really good sign that he's a nutria. So if you see big whiskers and the golden cheeks, you're probably correct when identifying it as a nutria. Now they also have a skinny rat tail like a muskrat. So if you see that, you know it's probably not a beaver. But these guys are also diurnal, which means that they're active during the day. So normally muskrats and beavers are active at night, they're nocturnal. So you see these guys during the day in most urban wetlands munching on native and non-native grasses.
So just like the babies were doing, the father duck is using his adaptation within the bill to help search for food. So kind of like teeth, mallard ducks have round serrated edges that help water pass through the bill when they gulp giant mouthfuls of sand. So it lets the water out but keeps the food in. It's a great adaptation to help them filter feed the bottom of wetlands.
So with restoration projects like these and wetland refuges within city limits, we can actually create a lot of awesome native habitat for animals and humans alike. So it just doesn't benefit the animals, it benefits our lives too. So thank you for watching. I hope you guys had a great tour, and we'll see you next time.